everybody. My name is Dr. Maggie Baker. I'm trained as a psychologist and also as a financial therapist. And I'm here to help you deal with your money issues. Everybody has money issues. It's whether you are aware of them or not. And there is help. There's a way to become a money master. And that's a way of enjoying the money you have and not worrying about the money that you don't have. And I would also very much like to hear your comments. I've tried to cover a wide variety of subjects, and these are all coming from my clinical experience and my experience in living. But I'm sure that some of you have very, very interesting and exciting questions to ask, and I'm more than happy to hear them. Let me just give a little background about the money types. As I mentioned in my book, there's a developmental sequence to developing a money sense of self, which starts in childhood when you start dealing with money, and then becomes more crystallized in adolescence, where you become a certain type. Like, are you the type that goes out and gets a job because you want to save the money because you want to buy a bike or a car or some electronic equipment? Or are you the type of person that just loves the experience of buying and that's what you like to do? You don't like to save so much. I'm going to list different types that are crystallized during adolescence and then play out during the rest of your life. The hoarder is really motivated by avoidance of anxiety and has a very, very fearful mindset toward money. Like, if I spend this, that's money gone. That's a loss. And what happens if that loss gets bigger and bigger and bigger and I have no money and now I'm out on the street? That's kind of their fear narrative. And that keeps them from really using money as an energy for things that are productive for them. It makes people hide money under the mattress, which is a very bad thing, especially in times of inflation because the buying power is going down. But it keeps them safe, so they get their satisfaction from feeling safe and keeping the fear level down. Let's start with the spender, because they're the ones that are having the most immediate fun anyway. So a spender is the type of person who just loves the experience of going into a store, finding something that they really, really like, or finding something that they might want to give to a friend. So their gratification and satisfaction comes from the actual act of being in the store buying. Now that we're all on the internet, how do you do that? Because a lot of people aren't going to stores. Well, the extreme of that are now people are getting together for a wine tasting and a click doing. So they'll have a little wine and then they'll bring out the computer and then they'll start shopping together. So click, 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 drink, 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 click, click, click. Oh, you know what's happening here. This is exponentially just great. Until, of course, the end of the month and the bill comes. The point is that the satisfaction is in the immediacy of doing this thing that brings a real strong dopamine hit. And the dopamine, again, is the neurotransmitter that makes you feel good in your anticipation and in your motivation to strive to get something. So that's all stimulated and everybody's happy until, of course, it wears off. If you're wired such that that has become a deeply embedded habit, there has to be some awakening in the person, either coming from the outside or from the inside. Worrier doesn't do anything. They just worry. There's some people with that kind of mindset that they have to have something to worry about. So they may worry about money. They may have millions of dollars, but they still worry. Or they may have very little and they still worry. But the point is they're getting some satisfaction out of the worrying. And I think it occupies their mind, so they're a little bit distanced from what they actually have to do. But they just keep worrying instead. This is somebody who is much more long-term in their thinking and gets tremendous satisfaction out of seeing, say, their portfolio grow or the profits for the company at the end of the month grow from month to month. And they just love the idea of collecting and gathering the money and having it. And there's something about the having of it that makes them feel very, very secure, number one, but also that they have something that's growing and becoming more than it was last month. So that's where their satisfaction lies. Now, the avoider is a person who has a lot of probably very mixed feelings about their relationship to money, and they don't want to dabble in that. And if circumstances are such that they don't have to, they won't. So they keep avoiding it. One story I love to tell about somebody who was a real avoider was a person who worked in corporate for a long time and then went into teaching and kind of forgot that her salary had gone way, way down on that move. And when the bills came in and she couldn't pay them, so she got a card table, put the card table out, and stacks of bills piled up until the table was so full, she had to get another table. And this went on until the bill collector was at her door, and then she realized what she was doing, and she kind of collapsed in a shame puddle. But that's the kind of thing that can happen as an avoider, and obviously that's an extreme. But the day will come, and usually if it does, it's worse than what it could have been. So avoiding is not a good trait. The only satisfaction of an avoider is that they avoid the immediate anxiety and ambivalence that they probably have toward money. Let's talk about the money monk, because the money monk is a moral Amasser in the sense that they don't like dealing with money at all. The most important thing is that they have a moral value given to money, and the moral value is very negative. But the money monk just doesn't want to deal with it. But a lot of academics are like that because their institutions take care of all the money, and they're very happy about that because all they want to do is their teaching and their research. But there is that kind of moral, I don't want to get my hands dirty in that mess. The opposite of a money monk, high rollers love the risk, and they get their gratification and their dopamine hit from taking extremely high risks. So they're this person who would go to the casino. They're the person who would maybe invest in a startup. They're the person who might take a hot tip from somebody they think knows all about the market and go buy a ton of that stock, or even borrow money to buy the stock. Unfortunately, that's happening to a lot of young people, millennials, who have the app, which makes it kind of seem like you're in a casino when you're buying stocks. And all the bells and whistles are there. Clapping of the hands, oh, you just made a great purchase, all that kind of stuff. Just encourages their desire to take more risk because look at the reward they're getting from it. There's certainly a place for taking high risks, but they have to be, again, not reactive and much more thought through with the consequences about what would happen if this worked and what would happen if it doesn't work. But most of the time, people who are high risk takers are more impulsive than that, and so they tend to kind of jump into things.